Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. You know that moment when you're in the club and suddenly everyone's moving to the same beat? That raw energy that makes you forget everything else? Today, we're diving into the world of emerging rapper Sam Cola, his distinctive club-focused lyrics, and what they tell us about the evolution of hip-hop expression.
And it's fascinating timing because we're seeing some major shifts in how rap lyrics are being analyzed and interpreted in 2025.
Let's start with Sam Cola's latest track. What jumped out at you when you first heard it?
Well, looking at his lyrics, there's this raw, unfiltered club energy. He's got lines like, "Moonwalk on the fucking beat," and "My sound old like Coke, but noise like Sam Cola."
That's quite different from what we typically see in contemporary hip-hop, right?
Absolutely. According to recent research, there's been a significant shift in hip-hop themes. Social justice content has actually decreased from 28.5% to 13.8% of content in recent years.
Really? That's a pretty dramatic change.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that introspective themes have increased from 7.6% to 26.3%. But Sam Cola seems to be going in a completely different direction.
His focus seems to be purely on the club experience, right?
Exactly. When he says, "I get the sound to make everyone in fuck dance in the club," he's prioritizing the immediate visceral experience over deeper messaging.
You know what's fascinating? The timing of this. We're seeing this emerge just as hip-hop lyrics are under more scrutiny than ever.
That's a crucial point. Right now, there's unprecedented attention on how rap lyrics are being interpreted, especially in legal contexts.
Can you break that down a bit?
Well, we're seeing a trend where prosecutors are using rap lyrics as character evidence in criminal trials. It's actually a major issue in the hip-hop community right now.
That's pretty concerning from an artistic expression standpoint.
Absolutely. And it's worth noting that this isn't new. Historically, black music has faced various forms of criminalization and censorship.
Let's talk about the technical aspects of Sam Cola's work. How does his approach compare to current trends?
Recent studies show that hip-hop's vocabulary diversity has increased by 23.7% over recent decades. But Sam Cola seems to be taking a more minimalist approach.
Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Not at all. Sometimes simplicity can be powerful. His repetitive phrases like here go, create this hypnotic effect that works well in a club setting.
You mentioned earlier about the shift in hip-hop themes. How does Sam Cola fit into that landscape?
He's actually going against the grain. While most artists are moving toward more introspective content, he's focused purely on creating energy and movement.
That's interesting because it almost feels like a throwback to earlier hip-hop eras.
Exactly. If we look back to hip-hop's origins in the South Bronx, it was all about moving the crowd and creating that party atmosphere.
So in a way, he's coming full circle?
You could say that, but he's doing it in his own unique way, with references to modern club culture and his own brand identity.
Let's talk about that brand identity. The cola reference in his name seems pretty intentional.
Yeah, and he plays with that in his lyrics too. That line about sound old like Coke but noise like Sam Cola is actually pretty clever wordplay.
Speaking of wordplay, how does his technical approach compare to his contemporaries?
Research shows that modern hip-hop has seen a 34.2% increase in rhyme density across all regions. Sam Cola's style is actually much looser.
That's quite a contrast.
It is, but it works for what he's trying to achieve. His focus is on creating immediate impact rather than technical complexity.
How do you think streaming platforms are affecting artists like Sam Cola?
Digital platforms have completely changed how artists connect with their audience. There's more immediate feedback and accountability.
And that affects the creative process?
Absolutely. Artists can see in real time what works in the club, what gets shared on social media, what resonates with their audience.
Do you think that's influencing Sam Cola's straightforward approach?
It could be. He's clearly focused on what works in the moment, what gets people moving in the club.
Let's talk about regional differences. How does that play into this?
Studies show East Coast artists typically show 17.3% higher lexical variation than other regions. Sam Cola seems to be charting his own path outside these regional styles.
That's interesting. So he's not really fitting into any established regional pattern?
No, and that might be part of what makes his style unique. He's not trying to fit into any particular regional sound.
How do you think this fits into the broader evolution of hip-hop?
Well, hip-hop has always been about innovation and finding new ways to connect with audiences. Sam Cola represents one direction that evolution might take.
Do you see this as a potential trend?
It's possible. As hip-hop becomes more diverse in its expression, we might see more artists focusing on specific niches, like club-focused content.
That's fascinating, almost like hip-hop splitting into more specialized subgenres.
Exactly. And each of these subgenres might develop its own unique characteristics and audience.
Let's talk about audience connection. How important is that in Sam Cola's work?
It seems to be central to his approach. Everything in his lyrics is about creating that direct connection with the crowd in the club.
And that's different from the trend toward more introspective content?
Very different. While many artists are looking inward, he's focused entirely on the external experience, the party, the movement, the energy.
Do you think there's room for both approaches in modern hip-hop?
Absolutely. Hip-hop has always been about diversity of expression. Different artists can serve different purposes and audiences.
That's a good point about serving different audiences.
And it's worth noting that even simple club-focused music can have cultural significance. It's part of how communities celebrate and come together.
So what do you think the future holds for artists like Sam Cola?
I think we'll see more artists finding their own unique niches, whether that's club-focused music or something else entirely.
And that diversity is healthy for the genre?
Definitely. Hip-hop has always thrived on innovation and different voices finding their own ways to express themselves.
As we wrap up, what's the biggest takeaway about Sam Cola's approach?
I think it's that there's value in simplicity and directness. Not every song needs to be complex or deeply meaningful to have impact.
That's really interesting. Sometimes a party is just a party?
Exactly. And in a world where hip-hop is becoming increasingly complex, there's something refreshing about that straightforward approach.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Copilot Podcasts. Remember, whether it's moving crowds or moving minds, hip-hop continues to evolve in fascinating ways.
And sometimes, like Sam Cola shows us, the simplest approach can be the most effective at getting people on their feet.